February 22nd, 2026, 4 a.m. While the world slept, the mountains of Tapalpa, Jalisco were illuminated by the muzzle flashes of a war that had been 15 years in the making. Nemesio Oseguera Cervantes, the man they called El Mencho, was finally cornered. It wasn't a grand betrayal by his inner circle that ended his reign. It was a romantic visit to an upscale gated community that gave the Mexican Special Forces the opening they needed. Backed by U.S. intelligence, the military launched Operation Tapalpa, a high-stakes raid involving 6 combat helicopters and hundreds of elite troops. By sunrise, the ghost was no longer a shadow. Critically wounded in the crossfire, El Mencho died while being airlifted to Mexico City. The king of the Jalisco New Generation cartel was dead. But if the authorities thought his death would bring peace, they were wrong. Within hours, Mexico ignited. Over 20 states reported narco blockades. Burning buses turned Guadalajara's highways into walls of fire. Gas stations were torched. Banks were targeted. In just 48 hours, more than 70 people lost their lives in the retaliatory chaos, including 25 National Guard soldiers. The CJNG isn't just a gang, it's a $20 billion global empire. It controls the flow of fentanyl, cocaine, and methamphetamine into every corner of the United States. And now, for the first time since its founding in 2011, that empire has no leader. The throne is empty. And as the 2026 World Cup approaches, the vacuum left by El Mencho is being filled by a new kind of violence, a civil war from within. The question is no longer how he died, but who will kill to replace him. To understand the war for the Jalisco throne, you have to understand the two men standing on opposite sides of the fault line. On one side, we have the veteran, Audias Flores Silva, known to the underworld as El Jardinero, the gardener. Born in the mountains of Michoacán, Flores Silva didn't start as a gunman. He was a businessman who specialized in logistics. By the time El Mencho fell, El Jardinero was already the regional commander of the Pacific Coast. He controls the vital fentanyl laboratories in the central region and the clandestine airstrips used to move tons of cocaine from Central America. He is the strategic brain. The U.S. State Department considers him so dangerous that they've placed a $5 million bounty on his head. He represents the old guard. He is calculated, quiet, and believes that a cartel should be run like a corporation. But in the world of the CJNG, logic often loses to blood. Enter the contender, Juan Carlos Valencia, known as El 03 or El Pelón. He is the stepson of El Mencho, but more importantly, he is the founder of the Grupo Elite. If you've seen the viral videos of hundreds of armored trucks, 50 caliber machine guns, and men in military-grade tactical gear shouting their loyalty to Mencho, you've seen El 03's work. Unlike the gardener, El 03 is a product of the digital age. He is an American citizen, born in Santa Ana, California, and he understands the power of propaganda. He views the CJNG not as a business, but as a family legacy. To him, El Jardinero is just an employee. To El Jardinero, El 03 is a reckless child playing with fire. As of March 2026, the lines have been drawn. Reports from the Wall Street Journal and intelligence insiders suggest that El 03 has already claimed the title of leader. But in the mountains of Nayarit and Zacatecas, the plumes of smoke tell a different story. The gardener isn't surrendering his labs, and the stepson isn't stopping his tanks. The Jalisco Civil War has begun, and the prize is the most powerful criminal franchise on the planet. While the gardener and the stepson fight for the crown, they are forgetting one dangerous truth. In the world of the cartels, weakness is an invitation. To the north, the Sinaloa cartel is watching. For years, the CJNG and Sinaloa have been locked in a bloody stalemate across Zacatecas and Baja California. Now, with the Jalisco leadership in chaos, intelligence reports suggest that the Chapitos and the Mayo factions are moving their pieces. They aren't just waiting for the CJNG to collapse, they are helping it happen. But there is a deadline that neither the cartels nor the Mexican government can ignore. June 2026, the FIFA World Cup. In less than 100 days, millions of fans and billions of dollars will descend on Mexico. Guadalajara, the very heart of the CJNG empire, is scheduled to host 4 major matches. The Pentagon has already issued warnings, and the U.S. State Department has placed shelter-in-place advisories for major tourist hubs. The Mexican government has pledged to deploy 100,000 security forces to ensure the games are safe. They want to show the world that Mexico is in control. But, as we've seen in the smoking streets of Zapopan and the blockades of Puerto Vallarta, control is a fragile thing. The death of El Mencho was meant to be a victory for the rule of law. Instead, it has triggered a Culiacanazo on a national scale. Like the mythical Hydra, the authorities cut off one head only to see 2 more emerge, each more violent and desperate than the last. The ghost is buried in a golden casket, but his legacy is a country on the edge of a total security crisis. Will the new king be crowned before the first whistle blows in the Estadio Akron? Or will the 2026 World Cup be remembered as the backdrop for the bloodiest succession war in history? The war for the throne has only just begun. Subscribe and turn on notifications to follow our ongoing coverage of the Jalisco Civil War. And if you haven't seen the secret details of the raid that took down the ghost, click the video on your screen now. Thanks for watching.